I used to want to be a healer. I thought I could be anything other than the wife of an old farmer.
Across the world, the best stories aren't about where they happen, they're about why they happen. That's why when a Nollywood film like The Farmer's Bride lands, a story soaked in red oil, duty, love, and death, you realize you're not just watching a Nigerian tragedy, you're watching a global conversation about freedom, power, and what happens when culture decides your fate before you can. Hey movie lovers, welcome to Global Movie Map. I'm Sumisola Olusi, and here we explore the stories behind the stories. From global hits to underrated gems, whether it's a review, a recommendation, or a deep dive, if it's cinema, it's on the map. So let's get started. Today on Global Movie Map, we're zooming out to see how The Farmer's Bride speaks to the world and why it could stand beside The Color Purple, Memoirs of a Geisha, or A Portrait of a Lady on Fire as a story that feels deeply local yet painfully universal. At its heart, The Farmer's Bride is not just about a girl forced into marriage. It's about choice. Choice. The one thing every human understands, no matter where they're from. Fumi's struggle to own our life echoes the same cry as Sophia in The Color Purple, as June in The Handmaid's Tale, as women across the world who've been told you can't exist but not decide. When our parents marry her off for land, it's not just poverty. That's the global economy of patriarchy, where a woman's future can still be traded for family survival, and when she kills her husband to protect her unborn child, it's not just a crime. It's the moral question every audience feels. How far would you go to survive a world that won't let you live? But this story's power doesn't come from how relatable it is. It comes from how Nigerian it is. Everything from the village farms to the 1960s dressing and home decor is rooted in a very specific world. A world where family honor, fertility, and spiritual balance are sacred. You can feel it in the dialogue, how silence speaks louder than words, how guilt isn't private, it's both spiritual and shared. When Odun's spirit is invoked after his murder, that's not horror, that's justice. The Yoruba metaphysics of consequence. And yet, to a global viewer, this moment mirrors Macbeth or Oedipus Rex. The same ancient idea that guilt calls down its own punishment. That's what makes this film so unique. It doesn't borrow Western tragedy, it mirrors it through African spirituality. The idea that evil is never buried, it returns through fire, wind, and dream. The film also opens a gender conversation that is global in scope but African in rhythm. Odun, the farmer, represents the tragedy of good men in bad systems. He's kind, patient, and yet complicit, because kindness without awareness still feeds oppression. Fumi, the bride, becomes both victim and villain. Our rebellion is ugly, but our cage is real. And Femi, the nephew, is the modern Nigerian man, educated enough to see injustice, but too self-centered to fix it. Through them, The Farmer's Bride exposes what happens when culture gives men choices and women consequences. That tension between privilege and powerlessness is what global audiences anywhere connect to. Visually, The Farmer's Bride carries the signature of new Nollywood. Cinematography that blends sunlight and spirit light, costumes that age without losing beauty, music that moves between drums and silence. It's intimate like Parasite, but spiritual like The Green Mile. It doesn't rely on spectacle, it relies on tension. Every shot of fire, every close-up of Fumi's trembling hands reminds us that this is a film made for those who feel. That's what gives it crossover potential, not imitation, but emotional literacy, the ability to translate Nigerian pain into global empathy. So what makes The Farmer's Bride special? It's the perfect meeting point of culture and character. It's where Yoruba tradition meets human psychology. It's where a local story speaks the global truth. That freedom, emotional, social, and spiritual, is never given, it's taken. And when you're denied it long enough, love starts to feel like rebellion. And that's today's stop on the map. What did you think? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because every story deserves to be seen and every movie has its place on the global movie map. See you in the next one.